Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself live on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We do want to encourage you to call in and express yourself. And I appreciate those people who are listening by way of Facebook and YouTube, etc. I'd like to get an email from you. My email is sydneymthompson@hotmail.com. Just send your name and your contacts on it, your phone address, where you live, and what you think about the program, etc., because we want to expand into that market as well in the United States. So all of you hearing from Connecticut, from Florida, from Chicago, and all those other places, we appreciate that. Orlando, like Bruce just told me, Orlando, Florida. Yes, and all the other states in the U.S., and probably there are some from Canada as well. We appreciate you listening and even participating. Okay, so you can send a message in. Of course, the numbers are 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. And of course, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, and of course, cable Bahamas, cable channel 974. I think I got it right. That's 974. And so we appreciate those people who are listening by that. And then also the family islands. We don't want to forget you too now. I need you to hear an email from you. You have to communicate. And when you put your phone numbers on it, let me tell you, I will call every single number. I know some people have difficulty in the United States calling direct into the Bahamas. But at this particular time, we have that advantage in the sense I have no challenges. And I hope it stays that way now. I hope BDC doesn't fall down in getting calls out into the United States of America. Because I have a format where I can use calls directly into the United States, Canada, England, and all over the Bahamas, right from my desk. And I appreciate that package very much. I can hold on until the man comes back. And so we are privileged in that because I know some people tell me, say, Professor, it's very difficult to get a call into the Bahamas. I don't know why they're supposed to be such a first world over there. They're supposed to have everything going for them. They call us third world. So I don't know all the particulars about it, but there's some, and they got these WhatsApp lines and all that kind of thing, all this sophisticated technology. You would think they should be able to call anywhere on the planet directly from the United States, but that is not necessarily the case. But be that as it may, we want your participation. We want you to keep listening and participating in the show, watching the show, and let us hear your comments, what you think about the shows. What you have to say is very important. It helps the host of the show, Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. So I need to know what you're thinking, what you are saying. Of course, I have a special guest coming in today. He may be a little late getting here. But of course, you know, Professor could talk until Christ comes back. He has no shortage when it comes to communicating. God has given me that ability and that potential to keep expanding and growing and moving forward because there are many issues that affect the Bahamian people. And of course, my guest has some things he wants to put on the table. We will put them on the table when he comes. But the thing is that we have to move on nevertheless. So I was listening on the radio and there was this talk about representation. And it seems as if it's very difficult for people to get to understand what is the purpose of representation. You know, they get all mixed up with party. They get all mixed up with a particular personality. And they forget what the Constitution says. The only way you're going to know Bahamians is you need to know what the Constitution says, not scraps of paper what people put or in a manifesto or in our plan. Those things are not important. It's just paper, what people write foolishness on. We need to govern our country according to what? The Constitution, which has all the answers. Do you know that? The Constitution has all the answers to all of our national problems, all of our constituency problems. And you know, I keep asking those two major questions, and I can't get a positive answer from anybody. You live in these communities, you live in these constituencies, and not one would call and say, Professor, you know something? I live in this particular constituency, and these are the major constituency problems that have been solved over the last 51 years, and here are the benefits that we are enjoying today. Maybe no one knows that. You mean to tell me after all that time, no one could call in and say, today, you could call in today. Don't wait for tomorrow, do it today. If that be the case in your particular constituency. And also, any major or all major national problems that have been solved through the government of the Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas has a role to play. Are they playing the role of solving national problems? Or do we have more problems today? I think it's August 27th, if I'm not mistaken, 2024. And what problems have been solved? See, those are the two major questions when you're talking about governance in your country, when you're talking about representation in your country. Or do we just have people play games with billions and billions of dollars? You know how much money was spent over the last 51 years? 51 years of independence. We're in our 52nd year. What are we going to do with it? We ain't going to waste this one. You know the challenge I threw out to you on July the 8th? And now this is the second month. You know, Bahamas, I can't let you slip into the third month and you're still sitting and you've not taken the decisive action at the constituency level. I know something is going on at the national level, I can tell you that. That's being worked on. And that national problem will be solved, Bahamians. It will never be a problem again. So what do you think about these constituencies? You may tell me we can't handle them in 18 months. Come on, give me a break, man. Just one major constituency problem to be solved in 18 months. We have the legal authority to do it, we have the constitutional authority to do it, and we have the biblical authority to do it. And as I told you, if you don't know, as I told someone I was going to mention this today, you call Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson, how can we organize? Well, not a problem. I know these people. I know them. I know when you're a fraudster, or whether you mean real business. This is a test run for you. And do not deprive me of the opportunity for the next 18 months to do what I know I can do with your cooperation, of course, with your financial support, with your backing, with your loyal, faithful support, along with the team that's working along with me. The Constitution says that's the way it's supposed to be done. So, I got to go constitutionally. I ain't gonna let nobody have nothing on me. And you have to be righteous with your dealings one with another. I heard someone was asking on one show, someone mentioned how many particular religious personalities were in the House of Assembly. And the comment was made, was there any rejoicing in the country? And the answer was no. So what's going on? You mean to tell me all these religious personalities sitting in the House of Assembly, and you mean to tell me each constituency they represented, there was no serious rejoicing for the time they were there? And you should have rejoicing until the man come back. So when I say to them, solving a major constituency problem, it is never to raise its ugly head again in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas or in that particular constituency, because that can get solved for good until the man comes. That is why you need participation by the constituents in that particular constituency. And among those constituents, you have what are called electors. That's a different kettle of fish now. I can deal with that at the appropriate time. But constituents who live in a particular constituency can come together. Article 24.1. I always quote Article 24.1 because that's what the Constitution says. It gives you the authority, gives you the power to protect your interests, more than one interest. Or you ain't got no interest. Maybe you like the crap going on in your community. Maybe you like people fighting and beating up one another and cussing out one another and carrying on bad. You saw what happened in Bosine Town? What happened recently in Chippingham? Where a young man was gunned down in the street, then those who were with him run for cover. Same thing happened in Bosine Town. Then one man was shot in his leg and he had to go to the hospital. Do they have unlimited space at Princess Margaret Hospital? Because, I mean, every time when I listen, they're always taking people in. They must have unlimited beds there then to put people in, or they have to put some people out to take the space for those who have been shot. Because plenty of people are getting shoot up all over the place. And so you have to ask yourself, what is wrong with us? Now, I don't want to be a patient at Princess Margaret Hospital. I've always lived right outside the Princess Margaret Hospital. So we had an ambulance all the time. We had the police cars all the time. But I don't want to be a patient at Princess Margaret Hospital. I got to stay strong until the man comes back. My guest just arrived. I know he got a lot to say. But Bahamians, listen to your professor today. Please get moving now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Do not delay it any further. This is month number 2 now. July 8th, August 8th, September 8th, right around the corner. I hope during that time you were talking to your constituents. Now you were talking to people. What could we work on? What can we work on collectively? That's what you should have been doing. Now, if you were doing that, that's fine. But I can't let you slip into month number 3 and ain't nothing happening. What kind of crap is that? I'm going to get on your tail because I am dead serious when I gave you that proposal on July 8th. You thought I was joking. You stay right there. I didn't come to this radio station. They didn't hire me to play games with you. When I see the tremendous suffering in my country today, and God gives me an opportunity to do something about it, which I didn't have before, but I have it now. You think I can waste this wonderful opportunity? You think I can waste 51 years like some other people? You stay right there. Just give me my 18 months. And let me do something in cooperation with the constituents and with the electors. You could be a constituent, but you're not an elector. Let me make that clear. See, I'm talking about the Constitution now. I have to stick rigidly with the Constitution. You know why? Because the Constitution is my salvation document. It is your salvation document too. You ain't got nothing else. Well, you thought them scraps of paper about our plan and whatever other nonsense they have out there. Huh? Well, you thought that it was. Don't pay attention to them kind of crappy things because that can't help you. You have already proven over 51 years that it ain't working. And then look at the wide swing in the last 2 elections. I believe we have a call on the line. I think I can take this call first because I got some things to say about the last 2 elections. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Hey, what's happening? Hey, that's you. Eh? You hiding from me, eh? And you're supposed to be my friend?
No, when I called you last time, you hang up on me like an animal.
I hung up on you like an animal. I apologize.
Yeah.
Mr. Producer, don't let me do that to this gentleman.
I wonder if it's real constitutional man and you do all the hanging up the rest.
No, if I did that to you, I do apologize publicly to the Bahamian people. That's not right at all.
Yeah, I was saying to myself, I was pretty thinking, I was pretty thinking and constitutionally, all of us have a right to free thought.
No, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with that.
And even further than that, freedom of conscience and freedom of speech.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, in this country today, even when it comes to like legislators and all that, when they question one another and all the parliament, right? I mean, it's like, so do we really have freedom of speech? We don't have freedom of speech. We're still in slavery.
Okay, let's deal with that one. Do we have freedom of speech? Yes or no?
And no, we do not have
Why
freedom
do
of
you say we don't have freedom of speech?
If we have freedom of speech, there should be no hindrance of speech.
No. Listen to this now. Now, see, you got two things mixed up right there. Let me correct
I'm
you on that.
Mr. Thompson.
No, well,
The
all
freedom
right.
of speech
Okay.
is the freedom
All right.
to speak. And to not, if someone is speaking and you hinder their speech, that means you are an unconstitutional person because the Constitution clearly states that, you no hindrance of speech. We are free to speak, but be subject to whatever penalty it is for us to face ourselves. But then in this country, I find that we use the media to basically talk about censor. When you listen to early in the morning, the talk show on either station, the host, he'd rather take a million texts that he censor, he read them. Oh, no, I can't say this, can't say that. You know what? All of that ain't nothing but hindrance of speech. Okay? And if we are free people, as we freedom of thought, freedom of mind, and we are not surely supposed to be prisoners of our mind. And I ain't telling you no lie. That's why I don't want to call talk show, because when you call the talk show, it's all about a host and whatever their agenda is, whoever paying them to keep certain agenda going to certain parties or whoever they get their money from to, keep that agenda going. But the bottom line is, as a citizen, I ain't telling you no lie. In this country, it's sick. For the mere fact that we can't express ourselves. I ain't no violent person, right? I never been to fight in my life. You know why? Because as a child, I choose that. Never harm no one or nothing, okay? And at the end of the day, if we are not allowed to even speak what we think, what sense of us even being in a society? You can't say what you're thinking. You can't express yourself. That is dangerous, very dangerous. Because guess what? Some people can't handle it, Some people go and get their gun, this and that and that. When you allow people to speak, you what you're doing is you allow people to release or to say, look, if there's certain pressure, you get someone to talk to or something. But in this country, it's a wicked country, Mr. Thompson, yeah? Wicked.
Okay.
Just like what the case is going on. We have two tier policing in this country, because anyone who is charged before the court thing is we go to certain systems and the police are doing investigations and the police cannot investigate it.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much, caller. Now, you see, I gave him freedom to express himself, right? I wanted to correct him on 2 points, but he just felt he didn't want to hear that. Let me put it to you this way, Bahamians. The Constitution allows for freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom of association. It didn't say that you may not be hindered. It says no person should be hindered. Yes, I agree with that. Because you accept with your consent. You didn't give consent to be hindered. Fine. But it does not mean that there will be those who will not oppose you. I have freedom to speak freely on this radio station. The management of the station doesn't say, Professor, I want you to say this, I want you to say that. They don't operate that way. I can speak freely, but with that freedom comes responsibility. I cannot come on this radio station and say everything that comes to my mind what I want to say. No, sir. It doesn't work that way. Freedom within certain boundaries. There are some things I am not permitted to say on the radio station. Does that mean you don't have freedom of expression? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Some things are not decent. Some things are not appropriate to put on the airwaves. Like someone asked me a personal question, or no, not a personal question, but some comment was made on Facebook. And they wanted to know what I was doing over the last 50 years. Did I vote in the elections? And I said, that's a personal thing. So I didn't go any further with that. That's neither here nor there. But there are people that will say things like that. But I know where to put the brakes on. Or whether you support this party or that party. When I come to these airwaves, I come with an open mind. I want to be objective. And I allowed the caller to express his view. But there are some things you are not permitted to say on the airwaves because it is not appropriate and it's not decent, it's not proper. So you can't just spout your mouth off on anything. There have to be rules. If there are no rules, then, everything will break up. You can't have that. So you have to express yourself, yes, within certain prescribed boundaries. And so sometimes people forget that. And maybe you got some hosts out there who are paid to do some things. I'm not one of those at all. But we allow for freedom of expression on this radio station. Very free. And you don't have to agree with the host. You may disagree with the host, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But the point is, are you constitutionally sound? The statements the caller made, he doesn't think we have freedom of expression. He doesn't think we have freedom of speech because what he sees some other people are doing. Do not allow the weaknesses of other persons to stop you from exercising your constitutional authority. You see why I keep going to Article 24.1? Article 24.1 supersedes anything what any particular grouping or radio station or anybody else has in their head. That's constitutional law. I mean, none of them could reverse that. I don't think it could be reversed by a referendum. People do not understand the importance of the first part of Article 24.1 and the last phrase of Article 24.1. I don't deal with them other little things in there. They have their place. But the two things that are important, no person shall be hindered in enjoyment of his freedom of expression. That is to say, and it goes on to talk about what it is. Then in the last part, the very last phrase, we talk about political parties and them kind of thing. We won't get into that today. It says you can be organized. See, this is where people miss the point, You're not organized. Organized to do what? To protect your interests. Do you have an interest protect? Yes, you do. And the word interest in the Constitution is plural. And that's what we keep missing every living day. We keep missing it, Bahamians. And we spend more time talking about people who are working against us instead of doing things. My God, we need to do things to help ourselves. And let's talk about things that could promote and build up the nation, build up the community, build up your constituency. Why don't we spend time doing that? And then the caller has no solution. What is your solution? I didn't want to get into that, and then that might be something else again. What is the solution to all that he said? He knows that's going on in his mind. What are you prepared to do about it? See, that's the question that comes to my mind. What are you prepared to do about it? Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson has given his proposals from July the 8th. And this is what? August 27th. Almost 2 months. So what are you going to do about it, Bahamians? You ain't got no excuse to say you don't know how to do it because I don't tell you. I'll come in and help you to do it. So you ain't got no excuse. I can make sure I knock them excuses right out of the ballpark. Bahamians, this is serious business. Lives have been lost over the last 51 years plus. You don't take that seriously? Do you see the people that are hurting out there? All kind of stress and trouble and pain and sorrow and agony. Come on, man. And all you can talk about what them other fellas doing. You ain't trying to solve nothing. To the man telling me I got to shut up now. You got this music in my ears. So when you hear that, you know you got to shut up. That's a nice way to producer tell you. Shut your mouth up and let me get to my break period. Okay? So Bahamians, we have to do something. I have my special guest here. He's there waiting. We're going to bring him in after We come back from the break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Pleased, I really dig your company. It's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. You heard in the commercial, the man said, express yourself. Call in and express yourself. That's exactly what the show is all about. But then when you finish expressing yourself, you got to take some action. Now, the first caller was able to express himself. I do not necessarily agree with a number of things that he said, because constitutionally, you're going to find that there are those who will oppose you and try to take your constitutional rights and freedoms away from you. The Constitution never said that you won't have a challenge in that regard, but we've had challenges. But when the Constitution says something is final, doesn't matter what they say or what they try to do, you cannot overturn the Constitution in that manner. Now, of course, I understand there was a big demonstration in Grand Bahama yesterday, but against the Grand Bahama Light Company, the power company there. Of course, I'm going to let my guest come in on that and some other things he has in his mind. But we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you there?
If you'd
I
like
don't
to,
think the call is there. Mr. Hylo, welcome to Express Yourself. And thank you very much for coming.
Good day, Professor, and good day once again, Bahamas. It is a privilege to have any platform to speak to matters of national concern. I hope that is the caller calling back once again. If anybody's thinking about calling in, please do so.
We have a caller, Mr. Producer?
Yes, we have a caller.
Oh, okay. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, are you there? Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please. Mr. Producer, I'm not hearing anything. Let's move on. Go
Okay.
ahead, Mr. Hylo.
Please, I have to urge whoever did call, please call again. We want to hear from you. The professor wants to hear from you. And, the first caller spoke of, suppression, or in his view, what he saw or believes may be some form of censorship.
That's what he believes. He believes there's no freedom of expression.
Okay. Now we have to take it. Everybody's entitled, as you always say, to their own opinion.
Their opinions. But is it constitutionally sound?
Right. Now,
that's a different matter altogether.
Now we know that, and you always teach us, Professor, we're talking about Article 24.1,
yes.
freedom to organize.
Yes.
And then Article 21, which deals with the freedom of speech and the media.
Yes.
I think we do have that call coming through now, Professor.
Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Brother Sid.
Yeah, what you say?
Brother Sid.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. You're live on air.
Yeah. I see yesterday that Mr. Bannister went into the court with a Bible in his hand.
So I understood. Yeah, I heard it on the radio. Yeah.
So you see what we up against? Not saying him, but there are people who believe that they can do things and nobody's watching them.
Okay.
But I am so glad that the leader dismissed him from that job right away.
That would have been an automatic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right. You understand? So I say to myself, what is taking them so long even to come to some conclusion about this Michael Johnson?
Well, that's a different kettle of fish now.
Well, it may be come on a different ship, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
Because wrongdoings.
Okay, I understand.
Now, if I were the commissioner, I would resign.
Okay.
The reason why I would resign, because maybe, I'm not saying him now, maybe I am so close to him and I don't want to see my friend go through whatever it's going to be. Let somebody else go through that. Because when we're talking about integrity, one must be very careful. You can have your friends, but if your friends are wrong and wrongdoing, you must say, bro, you got to fall on your own sword. But we are not seeing that today. And this is what causing the problem in this Bahamas.
Okay.
People are not, we select who's going to fall on their sword, and we select who ain't going to fall on their sword.
Oh, okay. All right.
And now we see now, they say, no more update. No, man, come on. No. Don't do that to us. Don't do that to us.
So that means now with the Michael Johnson case, we wouldn't be hearing anything more about it.
Not right now.
But when? There's no updates in the future, as you
I
understand
don't know. But then again, that's why I said, why taking this case 1 month, going into almost 2 months now?
it? Okay.
Just you're already going to hear what is what and this and that and next thing. The people from UK, they ain't coming.
They didn't come
The
yet?
people from America, they ain't coming.
So wait a minute now. Wait, hold on a bit now. We don't have those personalities from the UK here yet. You mean to tell me?
Boy,
you mean to tell me someone
you
is misleading
them,
me?
but they ain't coming.
Or they're not coming?
These people ain't got time for foolishness, man. If somebody has done wrong, see, if your child do wrong, why should you call the neighbor? Say, my child do wrong, I want you to come and discipline my child or final. No. Deal with this problem.
Okay.
Deal with it. So in other words, whoever done wrong and wherever it is, they will fall on their own sword. And that's just the way it is.
So what if the commissioner or whoever else is in charge refused to deal with it or incapable of dealing
Well,
with it?
that's why I say he should resign.
Oh, okay. All right.
He should
okay.
resign.
All right, okay.
That's all he need to do now. Just resign and say, let somebody else talk to the prime minister or whoever. Listen, y'all appoint somebody else to deal with this matter because I can't, conflict of interest, I can't deal with this matter.
Okay.
Because this will need to go on and on and on. Because I know you get good men who on the Royal Bahamas Police Force who are worthy to take their force to another level.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Where's the Minister of National Security in all of this?
He ain't saying nothing. I hear him say the other night. He said the other night, well, you all got to find job for the fellas that will come to jail because when they come out of jail and they ain't got no job, they can commit crime again. This man's supposed to be a smart man. Why should he say something like that?
That's coming from the Minister of National Security?
I'm go back to the tape.
Okay, all right.
I'm telling you.
That's what he telling the Bayman people?
That's what he telling y'all.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So.
And I just want to get it straight, I want to get it as you heard it to be.
I would have not.
I know you have good ears, You don't miss nothing.
I would not have said that like that. You understand?
No, you just said as is.
Yeah, he said it.
Once he said it, well, then that's it. You don't interpret that any way, shape, or form. That's what he said. That's what he said.
So, all I'm saying,
yes,
the government got to pull this man in and make some decision. The Bahamian people know there's still good police on the force.
Okay.
And the good police, we want to move on. This Michael Johnson is hanging over the Bahamas.
Yes.
Who he is, he may have been next in line to get the commissioner job or whatever, stuff like that. But allegedly, but then again, come on, just move on with this man.
So Michael Johnson is what? He was head of CID, is that it?
Yeah, but he was allegedly he was looking in line to be the commissioner.
Okay.
You understand? He's a nice. What I learned, he's a nice fellow and stuff like that. But then again, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Me, how I thinking. There's other people who see it maybe differently.
Okay.
We cannot run this country of niceness. We got to run this country of integrity.
Yes.
And when we don't have integrity, you know what happened? It stems from the head. When the head don't have the integrity, you know what happened? All the other limbs and different things, everybody goes out of whack and stuff like that.
Yes.
But all I'm saying, don't allow September to come in or September to go out with this foolishness.
Well, it should go
Make
out
a ruling on this man.
If you
take him
go-
to court, charge him, and do what they have to do. That's it.
But they still have August, you know.
They
They
will
could,
be
they could
August
get it
out,
done before August.
August out Saturday.
Yeah, well, they could do it before then.
You see? So if I was a commissioner and that's my boy, I would say, well, I can't go against him. Mr. Prime Minister, I resign and find somebody else to do the job.
Okay.
And that's it.
All
We
right.
can understand that. But don't come and tell us, oh, well, you ain't no more update from us and that. You cannot make these stories up.
So if I understand you correctly now, the commissioner, as you understand it, said that we will hear no more updates about Michael Johnson. Is that it?
That's what he said.
Okay, fair enough.
And Mr. Monroe say, so of course some prisoners supposed to come out like the Hannah man, what murder your sister, your mom.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yes, yes.
Man, Monroe, he's supposed to come out. The commissioner say, the commissioner of the prison say, you got to live with it. They got to come out and you got to live with it.
Oh, yeah?
So in other words, long as they can come, as long as they ain't living inside me, it's all right.
But they can be living inside somebody else.
Because I ain't want them to live inside me. Because
But caller, they
crazy
when-
whatever.
whenever they come out, they're going to be interacting with someone
Yeah.
or some people,
Thank you so
and
kindly,
they aren't going to
Professor.
want. Those people may not want them to be them. Thank you very
Okay.
much for your call, Mr. Haller. Let me bring you in because you probably have a lot to say about what the second caller said. But go ahead anyhow.
Well, Professor, so much is happening that is obvious. It's one thing to have a lot to say, but I'm just wondering what the Bahamian people are prepared to do.
That's important. That's why I said, the show says express yourself, but then you have to take action. This is why I always stick to 24(1) of the Constitution, where you need to take action. Yes, freedom to express oneself, that's fine. That's all well and good, but what are you prepared to do about it?
I would like to connect the matter of what is happening, what is playing out, because we really haven't said much on this show, Professor, concerning the police matters.
No, we haven't.
We haven't said a lot. It's right there for everybody to see what is happening. We have an officer at the height of policing in this country, and he falls into a situation where an investigation is needed. Policing is a matter of urgency, similar to military action, warfare. It's a matter of urgency. We have technology here like shot spotter. When a gunshot goes off, the system is designed to alert swiftly so you can take action swiftly. It makes us wonder, and if I speak for myself, it makes me wonder if swift justice is only for one part of the community and certain citizens. Swift justice comes down on them suddenly. But is it that the more powerful have a different experience in the Bahamas?
Okay.
That's just my observation, because I don't see anything happening swiftly in these matters dealing with high-level police officers.
Okay.
Very early in the matter, even on social media, we saw video of the Minister of National Security on video before he came into this position right now. He is on video expressing to the public that the police should not be investigating themselves. He had words. See, I shouldn't even say it unless I have the exact words. What he expressed was he doesn't see how the police can investigate themselves. This was then a few years ago, before he became the authority in the matter. So the question is, what happened between the last few years when he had the position? The police should not be investigating themselves.
Okay.
Now he's expressing the opposite position now. He don't see why the police cannot investigate themselves. They have a
Okay.
special investigations bureau within the police. They can
But that's-
investigate
But
themselves.
that's still the police.
Well,
I mean, what are you trying to tell me? So the commissioner steps out of line. Who's going to investigate him?
I guess he's going to investigate himself.
Maybe he'll investigate himself.
That's what's happening right now. Just let him investigate himself. It was stated that even if foreign police agents were to come, they would not have a supervisory role.
That's what I understood. Yeah.
It
So
was-
what is their role supposed to be, as you understand?
As I understand it, they would come to assist.
In which way?
They would receive investigation documents.
Yeah.
Our police investigating themselves
Mhm.
would make reports and hand it over to the foreign investigators.
Okay. And what are they supposed to do with it?
The only thing they could do is investigate. Would we tell them? If somebody wants to call and say otherwise, whether it's a police officer or a minister, somebody from the Ministry of National Security, maybe they could explain it. Because nobody want to explain anything to the public. We're supposed to accept what is given to us and say nothing.
So these investigators are not going to be in contact with any of the public. Is that it? As you understand it.
Well, apparently they can't get their foot on the ground here.
So as you understand it, they're not here yet.
Stand to be corrected. They may have arrived yesterday, but there's no report of anybody being on the ground.
So when they were reported to be coming, or there's been no exact time.
No exact time. No, last week, the beginning of last week, a full week ago. Last week, Monday, coming into Tuesday, is when it was anticipated or expected that they would arrive.
Okay, so up to this point, we're not sure whether they're here.
We're
or
not sure whether they're
Okay.
here or not. This
All
is
right.
this is 7 days later,
7 days.
6
later.
or 7
Okay.
days later.
All
But
right.
what we do know, we've been told that there won't be any more updates.
No explanation given as to why.
No, I saw the report myself,
Okay.
and it was just said that there won't be any updates.
That means the matter, as far as it looks, it seems as if it's closed to the public then. Because basically they're going by what, see here's the problem we have in this country. When you do not have independent entities, you're going to run into problems. All right? Or we just accept the word of the police force to say that's what it is? Are they going to tell us when they make mistakes, and they do make mistakes, they kill people or murder people? Are they going to come and tell us they did it? Or are they going to say, oh, well, we got to put them before the court? Or they go before the police tribunal, and then a determination is made. And all we got is, well, the police say this, the police say that, the police say that. We need to have independent investigation on these things. Can we get that in this country? Can we find competent, reliable, responsible citizens of good standing in this country who can look at things objectively and make a righteous decision? Is that possible, Mr. Hyler?
You know, I believe it is possible, but every opportunity we get to establish independent counsel, independent advice, independent commissions.
Yes.
I want the bombs to hear me carefully, you know. The idea is fought by those that we place into authority here in the Bahamas.
Okay.
I'm not talking about one side.
No, when you said those placed in authority,
Yes.
that's straight across
Straight across the board.
Okay, well, you don't have to go any further than that about one side or this side, because those are the people who have been given the authority to run the affairs of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Over
We know-
successively, yes.
Yeah, but we know who they are. We can identify who these people are. There's nothing difficult about that. The point is, are the Bahamian people prepared to continue to tolerate this piece of crap we're getting successively from each different administration in the country? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Are we choosing wisely in dealing with our national affairs? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Are we choosing wisely when we have these various appointments?
You know what I hope to see
Yes.
in the Bahamas?
Yes.
When the large organizations that compete for the governance of this nation, you see those pom-poms and those paraphernalia, the t-shirts, the pom-poms, the horns, the whistles, the things you put on the car, the flags, blah, blah, all, and we drive through the street, blah, 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 blah. I can't wait until the major organizations realize, and it's going to be the people of the Bahamas that bring this about, stop shaking up those pom-poms and your backsides in the streets celebrating people who are holding you back and disrespecting you.
Yes.
Over and over again.
So as you see it, do the Bahamian people really understand that?
I don't think they understand it.
We
because-
have, okay,
Mhm.
let me comment on this. We have 51 years of independence. Some people are saying we're not independent. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. The Constitution says we're an independent, sovereign state. I accept that. All right? Now, whether we have people in authority or given the authority to run this place, are they operating within the confines of the Constitution, or are they operating outside the boundaries of the Constitution? That's what we have to ask ourselves.
Professor, we have a case in point that you yourself are working on right now. It is apparent that they are operating outside of the Constitution, and this is what is causing problems. You can't have no question as to who is government, or there are two governments in the Bahamas.
Okay.
I think we have a call it, but if you were operating with the Constitution, there would be no confusion.
There ought not to be any confusion.
There
Yes.
ought
Okay.
not to be any
Yes.
confusion.
Okay. Now we'll continue that when we get from this call. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, say, Brother D.
Hey, what's happening? Go ahead, caller.
Good day, good day.
Today. Yeah, hey, Bahamian people, listen me good. I'm 46 years old. And I've been campaigning and doing all this and going wrong and listening to different people talk and everything.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Has the call been dropped? Mr. Producer, I'm not hearing him. I don't know.
Caller, please call again.
I think he'll have to. He just
Yeah,
dropped.
please.
Okay, I'm sorry
please-
about that.
Yeah,
We didn't
please
disconnect him.
call again. He said, his age, and he's just
Yeah,
saying
46.
Bahamian people, it sounds like he started to say we laid back, we allow these, but we'll have to let him speak for himself. Professor,
Yes,
you
sir.
asked the question, and we in Grand Bahama, it is affecting people's lives tremendously.
What is happening in Grand Bahama will affect the nation. That's a national problem.
Definitely.
Okay. So we have to understand that. Okay. So we can't just take lightly and say that's a Grand Bahama problem. No, that's a national problem.
It is a national problem.
So do we understand the importance of making sure that whatever is happening in Grand Bahama is dealt with properly, effectively, efficiently for the benefit of the Bahamian people?
Well, let's break it down, Professor. We tend to think politically and policy-wise. When you put the question forward, are we going forward effectively dealing with the situation? We have to understand what the situation is.
That's
when
correct.
you are here teaching us about the Constitution on a regular basis,
Yes.
let's put the two together. If the Constitution is being violated, we're not saying that it is in this particular area, because you've started to study
Yeah, we're
The-
looking and investigating.
the
some matters.
Hawksbill Creek Agreement,
Yes.
and you started to look into, and we're gathering the documents for this purported East-West End Agreement.
Okay.
And just so that the public will understand, what is that agreement?
Okay.
And is it constitutional?
Is it constitutionally
See,
sound?
see,
Yes.
right now there's no competition in Grand Bahama
Okay.
with electricity and energy. There's no competition. But there should be. It is unhealthy to have a situation where there's only one person determining what a market is able to provide or receive.
Okay.
It only could have been our government that gave authority to one person. So that is against good judgment and business practices.
Okay.
And that is what is adversely affecting persons from South Andros to Eleuthera to Grand Bahama.
Okay. We're going to a break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walton and my special guest, Mr. Dwayne Hyler. We have some really serious issues in the Bahamas, Bahamians. We got to get cracking on this. And don't forget my proposal now that I gave you on July 8th. I'm not letting up on that. I can tell you that right now. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Payments, we have a lot of work to do in terms of straightening out the affairs in our country. We have to get active on the ground where you live, because you have a role to play in changing the face of your local community. You have a role to play in changing the dynamics of your national interests. You have constituency interests and you also have national interests. The two go hand in hand. But too many of us have been sitting back and we are waiting for someone to do this, someone to do that. There's not enough strength, not enough push in the right direction for things to move. The first caller called in, he had a lot of complaints, and that's fine, that's all well and good. The question has to be asked, what are you prepared to do about it? And it seems that Bahamians seem to be stuck when you ask a question. What is it you're prepared to do to change things, to make this country a better place? We shouldn't be afraid to answer that question. We should be willing to make certain sacrifices as our mothers and fathers did for us to have what we have today. Are we prepared to protect what we have? I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, it's me again. The gentleman who started off with 46.
Oh, at
Yes.
46. Yeah, you dropped
Yeah.
off the line. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but what I was saying now, I mean, all of my life, walking the road, walking the streets, them campaigning and doing everything and all that. And I say to myself that if we really, these people really want to change in this country, I mean, we are not moving forward at all.
Okay.
From the digital part, from everything we'll be supposed to move, because we close to all of the big nations, then we close to, we only a couple of hours away from,
Yes.
and we technology,
Our
everything
proximity. Yes.
it's just, we don't have, some people, listen me good, some people don't even know how to operate certain things in digital world in it. So
Yes.
it takes so long. I realized back in the days when I was growing up, we had computers and everything and all that. No internet was wrong. Like we came in this digital era too late, where we had people right next door had it a long time.
Okay.
And what it is that the people who we have putting in charge, they are not trying to build us up, man. You understand where I come from?
Okay.
The Bahamian people don't see it. I don't know what. Professor, you asking us what we can do.
Yes.
That's a deep question.
Yes.
That is a deep question, because the people listen me good. The people don't mind sleeping on the floor. They don't mind sleeping on the floor all their life.
Wow.
Some of these people don't mind stooling in the bush. They go and dress up with their pretty wigs, their hair, $200 wigs, this and that. They still go home and got to sleep on the floor, sleep like the chickens and everyone like matchsticks in the box. They don't want. I mean, these people don't want. See, you got to realize this. When we have majority of the people who mindset is just stuck on stupid, we will never make it. And see, you got to realize this too. A lot of these parents have their kids stuck in the situation they was growing up. It's like they don't want to put their kids out of the hole. You understand? They want their kids to lead this legacy, this generation curse. They want them to keep on and keep on going on the same road. Freeport, all these different countries, all these different islands, they know what they have to do. Because anywhere in the world that every election, every people who they put in charge, after them, the PLP, whatever, this and that, and it's still the same.
But Caller, let me just draw an attention to you, and I'm glad you brought that up. When you look at the last two elections, first with the Free National Movement under Mr. Minnis, I think there were 35 seats went to the Free National Movement, and then 4 seats for the PLP. In the last election, The PLP got 32, and the FNM 7. You see the wide swing of seats in favor of those who are to govern this country? Are you trying to tell me over that period of time, since those two elections have occurred, we have more problems added to what is happening in the country today? You mean to tell me the government cannot say anything was blocking them? They have the power. They have it in their hand.
That's correct.
So what is stopping them from doing things for the benefit of the Bahamian people? This is what the Bahamian people have to look at. You gave this wide swing under Mr. Minnis. You gave this wide swing under Mr. Davis. What the heck is going on? That's what we need. Hold on, caller. This is what we have to ask ourselves. You gave them all this power, all this authority, and yet still we have a bunch of broke down constituencies. We're not getting any national problem solved. What is causing the problem? Something has to be wrong somewhere. Go ahead, caller.
Something has to be good. I mean, this is good. Sometimes we have the tourists them riding up and down in taxis and everything, riding up the place. The people them sitting down with the door, some of the door hanging off the window.
Yes.
Some of them get government uniform on. Some of them they work in the Bahamas. Some of these they have these jobs, but the mindset is still stuck in. You used to have a Mercedes Benz, but there ain't no engine inside it.
You can't go nowhere with that, eh?
And then you have for sale on it, but the people ain't no engine inside it.
Exactly.
You understand where I come from? So the people I don't understand why we can't put pressure on these people. And the thing that you have to realize is the people who we have in charge.
Yes.
They kids them in boarding school and them kids
Of
living
course.
in the States.
Yes, that's correct. You're quite right. They don't go to public schools.
No, you understand where I come from? And these people they campaigning every day. They leaving the kids at home. They eat, they buy the mind, they sell to go campaign for these people. And then when all of this over, the kids they still back to the same. They still sleeping in the same old Marshall bed. Bed. This and that. The house leaking and everything. Yeah, we ain't looking for them to do. But if you put them in power and they upgrade themselves, why you gonna feel bad for them to upgrade you?
Okay.
We have this, my good brother, my professor. This country is moving back. I talk about we moving completely back to the road. I mean, I just come from I ride from Shirley Street to Gambia.
Yes.
And brother, man, I thought my car, I thought I was going to make it back home.
Yes.
You understand where I come from?
Yes.
So what these Bahamians, what they have to lose? You know what I mean?
Yes.
What they have to lose. I see this person have the PLP T-shirt hang up on a door, and all the windows them shut down because they can't open up. The roof halfway down and everything, and they still have these posters them up.
Yes.
You understand where I come from? I don't understand. I don't know what's going on with these people. The question you asked, we cannot answer that because right now we don't. You see the police force. No one. People who have to protect us. We don't have no more. We can't trust them no more. So who else we could go? We could fall. You know what I mean? The bank trying to take the labor that we get.
Well, that's another problem.
We can't protect the money we making. We can't people them saying, oh, you've been working so long, why you can't go get an apartment, why you can't get a house? Because they didn't set up for the poor man to go get a house and apartment.
Okay.
They didn't set it up. So when you see people who are struggling and everything and all, and people them saying, oh, they don't want nothing in life, they designed the system where we have to continue getting whipped. See, this is the new slave master, the slavery time, you know.
Okay.
This is the millennium slavery now. It ain't no more with no cotton field or nothing no more. It's just wasting in the hotels and doing this and doing that.
Well, the Constitution tells me no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone. You mean to tell me that ain't happened yet?
Or have their labor exploited?
No, we can deal with that part. Let's deal with the first part now. You talk about slavery. No man, woman, or child shall ever be a slave or bondsman to anyone. That's part number one. Caller, can you comment on that, please? Caller, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still there.
That's what the Constitution says. So that means from July 10, 1973 up to now, nobody's supposed to be slaves in this country. Not a living one.
But
You mean to tell me that's going on now?
They don't know the Constitution.
Okay.
See, you got to realize this. You have a man locked down in the house with no windows for years. He don't know if it's winter. He don't know if it's snowing. He don't know nothing. So
He knows nothing.
if you have the people, you holding the resources and you holding everything from these people, how in the world they could protest? Or how in the world? You understand? The same in the hotel. This the gentleman who talked with Bahama, who don't have no union.
Yes,
The
I
people
remember.
are scared because
Wow.
you got to realize this. They know what they're doing.
Wow.
These people just trying to live and work just to meet ends meet.
Wow.
See, these days they put it in a way where now we cannot people scared to sacrifice because they scared to go back on laying on the floor. But they ain't realizing that if you don't fight now, you will go back laying on the floor.
Some of them are there now.
And some of them still live.
Yeah.
You understand? The government see, and
Yes,
they
sir.
don't realize that, man. You have to see. They worry, but now you got to worry about later because you don't know how long you can live. Why do you think you see a lot of these older people? They family and kids them have to put them in the old folks' home
Okay.
because they didn't. If they to fight for the people them and for the kids them would have had enough strength to fight and continue holding on the legacy what they fight for, where they don't have to put their parents them in the old folks' home.
The Minister of Health say they leaving them in the hospital. They
I
wouldn't
know.
come for them. They wouldn't come for them, and they dismissed them.
You know what I mean?
And they're not going to put them out on the street.
So
So
I
they
don't
have a
understand.
problem. They have a social problem.
Yeah, but that's a serious thing right now.
It is very serious.
Going up right now. They
Very
came in one,
serious.
but they only watching, listen to the issue. They don't even listen to the news or talk and call on and listen to the Constitution. And for my side, listen to your show. I never come off. I never came on my rest station. It don't mean it's like they talking Chinese to me now.
Yeah. Okay. But please keep listening
Well,
and
it's very
encourage your
serious.
people to keep listening because something is in the works. You take that from me.
All right, buddy.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Notice what the Constitution says. No man, woman, or child. But I'll let you get in on this. No man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone. That came into effect July the 10th, 1973. That's 51 years done past. And you mean to tell me we have people today who are slaves and bondsmen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? But I'll comment on that, please.
What I could comment on, Professor, is that we have had accusations of discouraging formation of unions, union busting, they call it, by major organizations, major hotels in this country.
Okay.
When you try to organize, and then see, just so that everybody out there understands, the Constitution is the basis of you forming a union. When I say it's the basis, it communicates that you have a right to organize yourself for the protection of your interests.
This is the supreme law of the land. You
So-
don't take that lightly.
No, you don't take it lightly. So anytime you have a large organization that does not want you to have an association or a union, you ask yourself, why don't they want me to have a union?
I think you just got to fight them.
Well, the caller just said that people don't want to do so because they're
But
afraid.
then the point is you got to learn what your rights, your freedoms, your privileges are. You're going to have to stand up and fight them.
Professor, what happens when you fight them? I'm thinking of right out the hotel way out west years ago. There was an uprising to fight the injustice from the hotel, but a minister of the government stepped in with the noli prosequi and basically, y'all go sit down, go back to work. Our government
The
quench.
point- let me just say this to you and to the general public. See, the thing is, you talk about a particular personality.
Mhm.
Personalities do not supersede the Constitution. Let me make
No.
that straight.
No.
A government cannot supersede the Constitution. The government of the Bahamas ought to work with the authority of the Constitution. So when you see people trying to supersede the Constitution or act outside of the boundaries of the Constitution, then you know you got some serious problems. The point is that the Bahamian people have to know they don't know the Constitution. 99% of people don't know the Constitution in this country. They've never been taught. They've never been educated. So I understand that to a point. But the point is, we can't keep saying we don't know. And I get very disturbed over that, particularly when I come here every living day, 5 days a week. And Monday is the Constitution Day. And I go to great lengths to explain different aspects of this Constitution. You can't keep saying you don't know. You have to start putting your act together. You got to start organizing and putting things together, because you have a very strong document that can stand up in a court of law. But you have to be prepared to fight. Now, the point is, you will have persons who are so accustomed to domineering and ruling over people in a harsh way, you have to fight them. You can't just roll over and say, well, just give up. You can let the man chop your head off? Is that what you can do? Is that the kind of people we have today? We're not going to even try to defend what our mothers and fathers have fought for us, who are now deceased. We're saying it's not worth it anymore. What has happened to the fighting spirit of the Bahamian people?
Well, there was no fight against this BPL deal. There's no fight.
So what does that tell you about our people then? What does it tell you about the unions? What does it tell you about the workers? What does it tell you about the people in general?
The spirit of cowardice and being a coward is rampant in the Bahamas.
Well, that's not going to help us.
That's one side of it.
You're not constitutionally sound.
The other side of it, I believe, Professor, the people have been beat down so much. And when you try to rise up, the same people who we supporting are fighting us down.
The point is, it gets right to the point, as Lady Russell said in the show yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We are responsible for what is happening. The Bahamian people are. The electorate are. If you have to fight the very same people you gave this authority to, then you know something is seriously wrong with that.
Okay.
You gave them this authority to run your national affairs. You did it for the last 51 years. You've seen what has happened. That's why I refer to the last two elections. 35 and 4, then 32 and 7. What are we saying? And all you got is a multiplicity of problems. And when I asked the question about constituency issues, whether they've been solved, yes or no, and what are the benefits, if any, were solved over the last 51 years. And then I asked the same thing about national issues. What major national problems have been solved? And what are the clear-cut benefits we're enjoying? And no one can answer those two questions? Something's wrong with that. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, call him back. Call him back, yeah, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, call him.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you, yeah.
Good day. Good
Yeah,
day.
I was telling Mr. Johnson about this freedom of speech thing, but I mean, like, he was for it and really against it because he's more, I guess, about the Constitution. And you know, yesterday, like you showed something yesterday, right? And you're talking to a gentleman, you said you pay no credence to no dead man. What do you mean by that?
So what again?
You said something like you pay no credence to no dead man.
But I don't understand what you're saying.
No, you said
Yesterday.
The person you're talking to, you said you made a statement saying you pay no credence to no dead man. When you said that, right? Only one thing on my mind, right? That same Constitution, what you call our Savior document, that's written by dead men, right? And we carrying and we told them that that's what that is, and no matter what happens.
Okay.
Yep.
Please dismiss the caller. Please dismiss him, please. Just cut him. I don't want people calling asking foolish questions. Okay? We're not playing games, man. If you're going to call and make a sensible contribution. The Constitution is a living document. It's been alive from July 10, 1973, right on up to now. And it'll be alive until Christ comes back. Now, he's going to tell me, and he's misunderstanding what I said. I said, do not waste time on people who are not interested in your welfare. We give too much credence to people who are not doing anything for us instead of us taking our valuable time and doing something to correct the problem. That's what I said to the man in Seabreeze.
Mm.
I said, do not pay attention to dead people. Why are we always emphasizing something about what somebody is not doing or should be doing? Not paying any attention to you. What are you fooling around with that for? Don't you think it's about time we start to say, what is it we can do to help ourselves? Same thing with the fellow from the union. You talking about cowardice? The point is, people need to understand it's going to take action by themselves. The Constitution is there. It has the document with all of the rights, freedoms, and privileges in it. You have to use it now.
You know, Professor, let me bring up another reality of when people do stand up. You know, it started to say they're precious or they are fought down, right?
Well, let's put it this way. You have to expect people to oppose you, particularly a bunch of wicked people who believe they have a right to control you. You show them, no, you ain't controlling me. And you have to constantly fight that. That's what our forefathers had to do to get where we are today, to have the Constitution we have today. There are some people who don't want you to use that Constitution. They don't want you to put the rights, freedoms, and privilege. They don't want you to even know it. But I ain't checking for them. You think I'm checking for them? Hell no. The same way Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Norman could stand up, all Bahamians can stand up and tell the government, no, we're not going along with it because you're not constitutionally sound. Are we prepared to do that? Are we prepared to tell them that? Are we prepared to demonstrate that? That's why I asked the man in Seabreeze. Are those people prepared to take action today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. They can if they're willing. Have we reached that point? See, hold on, I can let you speak. The point is, are we ready to move decisively against wickedness we see spreading in this country? That's the question I put out to the Bahamian people. I'm not against discussing anything. I'm not against talking about anything. Fine, that's all well and good. What course of action are you prepared to take after the discussion is over? We've been doing this thing for 51 years. Living in stock. Go ahead, Hyler.
You know, all I was thinking, Professor, you know, some persons are now willing to take action. I'm thinking of Lewis Yard in Grand Bahama.
Okay.
There was another protest yesterday. There was another protest as a follow-up.
Yes.
And they're saying if it have to be 3 or 4, so be it.
Okay.
So that's new.
Okay.
That's new. We haven't seen that in the past.
Okay.
So Grand Bahama, you know, if you live in Grand Bahama, I would say join in if something affects you. The same thing that the professor is saying. Join others that are stepping out. Now, the thing about it is, you know, there's other areas. Eleuthera, they had their protests.
Yes.
To the point where they were told they would receive 50% reduction in their bill for the next month. Now, whether or not that was just a bone to satisfy an angry dog, I don't know. I don't know what that was, Professor, but
Okay.
they were told they're gonna get their.
I heard the comment.
So Eleuthera, that cool Eleuthera right down, they quiet down for.
Quiet down.
But reports came back that the problems persisted. The following day or so, they had restoration of power. You know, everything was good for a day or so. Gregory Town, I believe, is like they were like a day or two.
Okay.
A very long stretch without power.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that it's like the natives are restless. They're tired. South Andros also protested.
Yeah, I heard about South Andros.
Yeah, protest down in South Andros.
Yes, that's correct.
Now the thing about it is, if you did not have the long power outage, I'm saying it's good that you're standing up. Professor, if we didn't have these power outages, that means maybe nobody would be protesting anything. You see what I'm saying? That we protest in the darkness of having our power out. But what about the darkness in the country? What about that darkness?
Plenty
What about the
darkness.
darkness of your senior police officer allegedly, purportedly, and reportedly being involved with things with evidence, and with his
Yes.
voice?
Yes.
And you are being told we don't have any updates for you?
That's an
Okay.
interesting observation. Yes.
Okay. We don't have no updates for you.
Don't forget now we got 83 murders plus in the country.
They are representatives. I hear the music, we got to go to break. But they are representatives. They represent us. We are
Okay.
supposed to be the government. We are supposed to be the power, the people.
I can come back to that. I'm glad you said it. This is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. We invite you to call in 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. I got to remember to always say that one, 813-0271. This is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Shell wants you to pack your bags and cruise the Caribbean. When your share of
Yeah, let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Yeah. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. I was just getting warmed up. My producer tells me this is the last portion of the show. I don't know where all the time went, but that's what he told me. So I got to comply with the rules of the station. So it's the last portion of the show. Make sure to get your calls in and express yourself. 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Of course, we have the Facebook page and we got the YouTube page, Global. We got
Cable.
Cable 974. I think that's the right number, 974. And so all of those vehicles you have to work with. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, Professor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, top shelf.
Okay.
Hey, your guest, Brother Hyla.
Good
Yeah,
day.
okay.
Good day, sir.
Smart man, Brother Hyla.
Okay.
I got
Okay,
two
thank you.
questions for the professor,
Okay.
and I hang up and I can listen. Number one, my first question for the professor is: which government was in power that wrote the Constitution?
Okay.
Which government was in power? Because you saying we was in power for 51 years. Which government was in power? Who wrote the Constitution?
Okay.
And number two, who you voted for? Because I know you older than me. Who
Tell
you
you I'm
voted
older
for
than you. Where you get that
in the
from?
past general elections?
How do you know that?
That's what I need to know. I can hang up and listen to the response. I'm on the cell phone. Thanks.
Okay.
But he calls it something else, you know. Anyhow, let me answer the first one then. The government of the Bahamas, that at that time it was the PLP, the Progressive Liberal Party government, that was in power at the time. And let the caller understand, when I talk about the government of the Bahamas, government is continuous from one administration to the next. The PLP administration was in authority at that particular time when we became an independent nation. That was the government of the Bahamas. And of course, you had the opposition. They went to London and they had these discussions in London. And then, of course, we became an independent nation. The election was held September the 19th. That's one day after my birthday, of course. I remember that quite well. 1972. And then we became an independent July the 10th, 1973. Now, what was the second question? What did you say?
He asked who you voted for.
Oh. Why don't you, callers, please stop this. Please stop this. Let's put it this way. That is a personal question. I don't want to get into that on the radio. And callers, please do not ask personal questions of the host, who he voted for over the last 50 years. He said, and then the caller said, I'm older than he is. I don't know how he got that conclusion, but that's what he said anyhow. No, I won't bother to answer that. That is a personal question, and I just rather to leave it that way. But the thing is, Bahamians, we need to deal with national issues. Mm-hmm. All that is happening now is affecting you, is affecting me. We don't have many good things to talk about, but we have some negative things that are gnawing at the Bahamian people, and I'm trying to get people to understand. We have to fight it. That's why we have the Constitution. It's a good thing we have this Constitution, what Mommy and Daddy left for us, so we can be able to stand up and be able to do some things that we could not have done before. They sacrificed for us. We today are going to have to sacrifice for those coming after us. There are thousands and thousands of children out there who want a future. So what are we going to do? We can give up a broke-up country? Is that what we're going to do? 52 years, this is our 52nd year as an independent nation, and all we're going to do is tell them all you're going to have is more problems? No. We got to stop that foolishness. That's why I gave a proposal on July the 8th of this year, and I'm dead serious about it, about dealing with one major constituency problem in each of the 39 constituencies. That's what we have to do, Bahamians. It's an example that can be done legally, constitutionally, and biblically. And if you're not sure how to organize yourself, You call the radio station and say, I want to speak to Professor Thompson. I will come in and help you to get set up. Time is running out, Bahamians. I need my 18 months. And I am not prepared to be denied it, but I need your cooperation. I need your support. I need your backing with the team that I'm working with. Now we have a team that is in the process now of dealing with one major national problem. And they're working hard at it. We can be calling on you to support us with that, you know. But it takes dedicated people and committed people. That's why I know there's one major national problem. When you see this come crashing to the ground, you're going to have plenty other things come crashing to the ground, and it will be done for good. We'll never have those problems again. I'm telling you what I know, Bahamians. That's why I could talk with confidence on the radio station. Because I know what the Constitution can do to help us as a people. It takes a fight, Bahamians. You can have the sweat. God says, by the sweat of your brow, you'll eat bread. Isn't that right, Brother Hyler?
That's what he said.
That's what the man tells me, so I got to work with that. So I ain't worry about sweating. And I ain't got nothing to lose. I want my 18 months, Bahamians. I want to see this happen in every single constituency. And I don't take that lightly. When I said it on July 8th, I thought about that very seriously. Because you asked, Professor, what is it we can do? There's a lot that we can do, but we got to take it one step at a time. And it takes your cooperation. Go ahead, Brother Hyler.
You know, when you speak of it taking cooperation and support, you know, if there are any businesses that play this radio station, play this show on a regular basis, you know, we'd like to hear from those businesses.
Of course.
And then we'd like to help support those businesses. I just want to say, you know, what is potential here is a mutually beneficial working relationship.
Yes.
Businesses need to advertise their goods and services. And I encourage you to work with Global 99.5 to promote your business. I'm not being paid to say what I say on behalf of Global. I'm not being paid to say what I say on behalf of the Bahamian people. You know, I work for the person who made all of us. That's who making sure I straight.
Yes.
I'm not looking for any side deals, no party money, no secret money, or whatever the case is. Whatever I do is out in the open. But what I've experienced is the freedom to express myself here at Global Radio.
That's important. See, that's a constitutional principle.
Right.
And we have that. We have much more than that. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. We have so much more at our disposal in being able to deal with these issues that affect us. Because it is better for the country if we can see certain things happening now, which would be beneficial for the Bahamian people, to encourage others to do more. People have to be encouraged. So once they see some things happening on the ground in their particular constituency, it will encourage them to think differently. It will encourage them to behave differently. You have to show them by your behavior, your change. You have to change your behavior. That's why I said to them, listen, we need righteous people. I'm not religious people. I'm not talking about religious people. Righteous people who will not take sides with wickedness and corruption. So once that one major problem has been solved, that is solved until Christ comes back. You'll never have any more problems with that particular issue. That's a finished deal. Not say you have something, you do something today, then 1 year from now, all of a sudden, the problem pops up again. No. You can't do it that way, Bahamians. That's why I said I always go to Article 24:1. It takes the collective will of a people, one, at the constituency level, and two, at the national level. And we calling on you. You could bet your bottom dollar on that one. With that major national problem, I am absolutely 100% confident we could solve that one. And when that one is solved, all kind of other crappy things will come crashing to the ground. You ain't got to worry about that one no more. That major one, we have picked that one out. We know what it is. We're working on it. And I'm trying to get you to work on one major constituency problem. Just one. Then you can decide what you want to do with them other ones. Just give me that 18 months. That's all I'm asking you for. Give me my 18 months. The professor is asking you for that. And let me get something done on the ground with your cooperation and along with the team that I have. And these are committed, dedicated people. They're prepared to work with me, and there are others who are coming on board to work along with me to make sure it happens, Bahamians. This ain't no plaything. You know how many people have died over the last 51 years? Hoping to see something better in their country, and they didn't see it. We're here, Bahamians. We are alive. Let's get it done for ourselves, for our children, those thousands and thousands of children out there who want a better future. You can leave them stranded, and we have this wonderful document to work with. Give me a break. Go ahead, Brother Hyland.
Professor, we have some comments coming in.
Please read the comments.
Over Facebook.
Yeah, go ahead.
One person, I'm a little reluctant to say, but they say hotels like Sandals always threaten their workers to close the hotel down. And then with some jobs, say they already, basically they hire new workers.
Okay, but that has happened.
They will close down.
That has
hire
happened.
New workers.
We know that's history. That has already happened. That happened right here in New Providence.
Yeah.
So the call is not the person who sent the information is not off. It has happened.
Yeah.
We need to be honest with ourselves and stop talking nonsense and foolishness. We have documented evidence this has happened.
Yeah.
So the person who sent in the information is not misleading anyone. Go ahead.
Another person is saying that's when you let foreigners run your hotel. Another comment, say Bahamians, even if you don't totally agree with everything, you should stand up for what you believe in. It doesn't have to be political.
Let me put it this way. The thing is, when things affect you on the ground in your community, you're going to find it does not have to be political. I agree with that. It is a way of life that is happening to you. And you have to ask yourself, what are you prepared to do to change it, Bahamians? You want to keep suffering? You want to keep in pain? You want to keep going that way where you're constantly hurting day in and day out, and you keep crying out when you have something in your hand to stop it?
Another comment, what kind of action do you want them to take? You have to explain the action.
Okay, go on. Finish it.
Is it protesting, which there's no results, but arrest and lies so the masses can go away? Do they riot like Burma Road years ago? Or do they drag those people out of the House of Assembly who stated they answer to no one?
Okay.
What do you want them to do? We have seen protesting and not seeing any change. Or are you seeing any change?
Okay, then let me answer it this way. You see, this is why you need to know your Constitution. We've had protests, yes, and people call people out to Bay Street. How many people turn up? A couple of people, right? We've seen that happen over and repeatedly. I don't know what's happening down in Grand Bahama, the number of people turning up protesting. If there are people who feel they want to protest, the Constitution allows for that. They can go ahead and do so. I'm not going to knock them if they don't, and I'm going to knock them if they do. That's an attitude today. What I will say is this. What we need to do is whatever we do, it must be constitutionally sound and effective. That's why I said to the people in the constituencies, organize yourselves constitutionally. 1, legally. 2, biblically sound. 3, constitutionally sound. Here is a matter that's affecting everyone in that particular constituency. I said to you, you have to hand it over to righteous people. You need a team of righteous people. When righteous people are in charge, not religious people now. I'm talking about people who will not fall to wickedness and corruption. People who will be honest and truthful with you, who live in your community. You mean to tell me you can't find none? You can't find no righteous people in your community that you could bring together to solve one major constituent problem? Are you telling me everybody in there wicked? Is that what you're telling me? Now something's wrong with that. If that's the way it is, something's wrong with that.
Professor, one person commented also, say, I have no interest in the constituency challenge because I feel the government has already been given the money and they're being paid to upgrade the constituency.
Let me put it this way. I heard what the person said there, right? Okay. Now you want to keep sitting around waiting for people who you gave authority to do things, and you ain't gonna do nothing to help yourself. Is that what you're saying? You're going to keep sitting on the ground complaining and grumbling about some persons who are in authority right now, but are demonstrating every living day of their lives they don't care about you. So what you can do about it?
Professor, what about those persons that don't have a lot of time and don't have a lot of money?
Let's put it this way. When you look at Article 24:1, what does it say?
You have the right to gather, assemble yourselves.
No, it does more than that. To protect your interests.
You protect your interests, yeah.
What are you prepared to do to protect your interests? That's what the constituents need to understand.
But the CID is supposed to be protecting our interests.
You wait on them then. The point is, if you have an interest, you have to decide what is it you prepared to do to protect it. That's why I'm testing them. Let's deal with one major constituency problem.
Okay. While you're waiting to deal with the constituency problem,
yes,
I want
because we're working on the national problem. Don't forget that.
Yes,
I told them already plainly. I am deeply involved in one major. You think I'm waiting for them at the fellas talking foolishness and nonsense? Give me a break, man. I'm aware of what's going on in this place. So I have gotten some people to organize themselves, and they are busy every living day working on this one major national problem. And you can't handle a little constituency problem? Come on, man. Get up off your backside and start to do something. That's what it calls for, action, Bahamians. I'm not just telling you to do this and I'm not doing anything about it. You got to be out of your mind. When I say something, I act on what I do. Now, I need your help to make it happen. Professor is not going to say he could do it by himself. It is unconstitutional to do it by himself. It cannot work. Go ahead, Brother Hyler.
Well, Professor, you've given the people a lot of different reasons to work together. Something that we've drawn attention to. This is the second week now.
Yeah.
Fox Hill. The land in Fox Hill is being acquired by the Office of the Prime Minister. 20 notices appeared in the Guardian and the Tribune.
Yes.
That the Office of the Prime Minister is asking if you have claim to these particular parcels of land, and they had the map of where the property is located.
Yes.
So that's one matter. That's a different matter. So here it is now in yesterday's paper.
Now, hold on. Just before you go to that one. We hear anything from them people in Fox Hill?
We haven't heard from Fox Hill. Well, one gentleman called. And said that he was called by one of our listeners.
Right.
And they know that he has property in Fox Hill, so they called him up.
Right.
And said, you better listen to that show.
Right. Okay.
Sidney Thompson.
Yeah. Okay.
Express yourself. Because they're talking about land being taken away.
Well, that's what's in the paper.
So the caller called. He had no idea what was happening. And we told him what was happening.
Exactly.
And we read the notice.
Yes, we certainly did.
He was shocked.
Well, okay then.
And surprised.
Now, what about them people in Fox Hill who know now? What are they doing about it? See, that's what I keep saying all the time. Here they are sitting on their backsides and doing nothing.
Significant parcels of land. The first
of
one,
course.
The first notice
4 acres.
Was for 4 acres that is going to be acquired to give to people.
To some other people.
In need.
But you taking the man's property, you need that for your children and his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, and you can go give it to somebody else you claim have a need for it. What kind of nonsense is that? And you ain't asked permission from the fella if he wants to sell it. What if he say, no, I ain't interested in what you're talking about? Just leave me alone. Doesn't he have a right to his property? Don't forget the Constitution talk about protection of personal property.
If you happen to live in Foxville, even if you don't own property, do you see a problem with this? Do you have a problem with this? Is there a cause to come together or to discuss it? Is there a community leader?
Not only do they need to discuss it, they need to take appropriate constitutional action. Then the fellow on Facebook say, what kind of action? They have to determine what it is.
Yeah. Talk to the minister. Maybe Mr. Mitchell may know something about this.
I am saying nothing about it. All them talking he's been doing, I am say one single word about acquiring property in Foxville. That's his constituency where he's supposed to be the MP. Isn't that right?
I don't think he could get into his seat without votes from them.
Well, okay then. So they haven't said any. I ain't say nothing about it. He talked about other things.
He didn't talk about that?
But he ain't talk about that. Every statement he made, even when I heard what he said this morning, he ain't say nothing about that.
Well, you got to be concerned about them, eh?
I don't know. I can't answer that
He
one.
should be.
Should be.
He's the minister.
He's the representative of Foxville. Then he's now also Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Is he dealing with local affairs?
I don't know. Because these people are going to lose their property if they don't take appropriate action.
30 days, Professor.
Well, that's what the man tell him.
Say 30 days. You know what's so interesting to me? Our government could barely borrow money in this economic climate right now. The government can barely get money. Where are these people supposed to get money to? Where is pay the back taxes? So their whole property got to go. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, leaving their family estate. I don't agree with that.
Let's speak to this other one, what you have right there.
This one is interesting. The gentleman say he was reading the newspaper and he first became aware in 2022.
Does the newspaper identify who the gentleman is?
Yes, it does.
Okay, but let's give that out to the public. Where the location of the property is, let's tell them where it is so they'll have an understanding of what is published in the media. Let's go.
Published in the media is
the
a
date
Mr.
and time. The date and the time.
Okay, so we're talking about Monday, August the 26th,
Okay.
2024.
All right.
Reported in the Tribune, Mr. Anthony Cunningham, 61 years old, is saying property in Popal Tract has been in his family for generations, but the government is now saying they want to acquire the land for this hospital that they're building.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Cunningham said that Prime Minister Ingram acquired a few pieces of the property, which to me proves ownership. 4 lots the government acquired for the roadworks. And he was compensated, I believe it was supposed to be $56,000 is written here. And now he's being told that this property is being acquired, but there's no money talk. There's no money. And here it is now, Dr. Gemma Roll, who was president of the Medical Association of the Bahamas. I fast forward to the end of the story. She expressed concern that the doctors are unaware of the plan and questioned how the government would staff this new this new hospital.
Okay. We're going to have to close that because we're getting to near the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bahamians, we have a lot of problems in this country. We got to start moving right away to try to save this place from total collapse and confusion. This has been Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We'll be on tomorrow. Have a very pleasant afternoon and keep safe.